So far, we have understood the notion of antagonist muscle. We have observed that when one is going to contract, the antagonist is going to relax. We have observed that when the TS is going to contract, the TA should relax. We're going to take this notion that we have gathered and we're going to apply it in understanding the mechanism that allows the Achillean reflex to happen. This brings us to point 4, which is to describe the neuronic network involved in the Achillean reflex and how is this reflex established. The following document here is found on page 210. If this is not clear, you can refer to your book, which is document 3. Now, before we start describing the network and the Achillean reflex, let's have a look at document 3 and see, or let me say, observe the parts which are given here. You would observe here that we have this muscle, which is the extensor muscle, that is the TS, and here we have the flexor muscle, which is the TA. Now, you're going to see there's something, a part of this circuit was previously explained in the last session. So here you're going to see that we have the sensory neuron. Okay, now the sensory neuron is synapsing with the motor neuron, the alpha motor neuron, going to the same muscle. This circuit should ring a bell. You know, this is the, again, I'm going to repeat, this is the extensor muscle, the TS. This is the neuromuscular spindle. This is the sensory neuron having a centripetal pathway going into the spinal cord. As you would follow the arrow, it is going to synapse with the cell body of the alpha motor fiber or the alpha motor neuron. Follow the pathway down, going to the same muscle. This is the motor end plate. This is something we have talked about before. Now let's look at the additional circuit. The additional one, the red one here, it is a red one. Being red in color, it signifies another alpha motor fiber or another alpha motor neuron. So this alpha motor neuron, this is the motor end plate, is attached to the muscle here, which is the flexor muscle, that is the TA, the tricep, the tibialis anterior. Now, this alpha motor fiber, if you move ahead, you're going to see the cell body is in the spinal cord too. Remember, the cell body of the motor neuron are in the gray matter. This is the butterfly shape, the gray matter. Now, you're going to see that we have a neuron here. This neuron here is colored green. Okay, this neuron, this green neuron here, its terminal end is synapsing with the cell body of the alpha motor fiber, which is going down here like this to the flexor muscle. Now, this green one is also synapsing with this blue one here. Remember, the blue one here, the blue fiber, this is the end, the terminal end of the sensory neuron. The sensory neuron that is originating from the extensor muscle, which is the triceps suri. So I'm going to go again. This is the neuromuscular spindle, the triceps suri. This is the sensory fiber going right up or right here in the posterior root to the spinal cord. Now here it is going to synapse with the motor, alpha motor fiber of the extensor muscle. Okay, at the same time it is synapsing, that is the sensory neuron is synapsing with this neuron, which is an interneuron. This interneuron is synapsing with the alpha motor neuron of the flexor muscle. Okay, I hope it's clear by now. So if I'm going to describe the neuronic network, we're going to say that we have the neuronic circuit of the two muscles. They consist of an afferent pathway. This is the afferent pathway, which is originating from the stimulated TS muscle, that is the extensor muscle, which is going to be stretched. And we have efferent pathway. These are the efferent pathway. Okay. This efferent pathway here is having a direct relation with the alpha motor neuron of the stimulated muscle. And remember, we have talked about this. It is a monosynaptic pathway involving only one synapse, and we're having an indirect, the sensory neuron is having an indirect relation with the motor neuron of the antagonist muscle, the TA, through an interneuron. Therefore, we're having a polysynaptic pathway. So, if we're going to compare the neuronic circuits innervating these antagonistic muscles involved in this reflex, we're going to say that the two circuits possess the same sensory neuron. This is a circuit and this is another circuit. The two circuits are going to have the same sensory neuron. Now, each of the two circuits have a unique motor neuron, an alpha motor neuron. They have the same sensory neuron, but each circuit is going to have its own unique alpha motor neuron. This is one and this is another for each one. Now, the circuit of the flexor muscle here, okay, this is the circuit of the flexor muscle, okay, like this. The circuit of the flexor muscle has an interneuron here, okay, between the sensory neuron and the motor neuron and the alpha motor neuron. However, the circuit of the extensor muscle, so I'm talking about this circuit now, going like this, coming down like this, okay, this is the other circuit. This is the circuit of the extensor muscle. It does not have an interneuron. Now, I can also say that the number of synapses in the extensor muscle circuit, that is this circuit here, the number of synapses is 1, only 1, which is less than that in the circuit of the flexor muscle, where we're going to have 2 synapses. So I'm having a monosynaptic pathway and I'm having a polysynaptic pathway. I hope the notion of monosynaptic and polysynaptic is now clear. Now, the last point we're going to have a look here at before we talk about how is the reflex going to happen. You're going to have here positive and negative, which is signifying excitatory synapse and inhibitory synapse. So, how is this reflex going to happen? When applying stimulation here to the Achilles tendon, it is going to cause stretching of the muscle, which the stretching is going to be picked up by the neuromuscular spindle fiber, neuromuscular spindle, which is going to generate the nervous message, the action potential carrying it, which is going to be carried by the sensory neuron reaching the spinal cord. Now here at the level of the spinal cord, the afferent fiber, that is the sensory neuron of the extensor muscle, is synapsing directly with the alpha motor neuron of the extensor muscle, that is of the TS, of the triceps surae. Now via a monosynaptic pathway or circuit. Now the synapse is excitatory, so the message is going to be transmitted to the efferent fiber, which is going to reach the extensor muscle, causing the extensor muscle to contract. Also, the same afferent fiber here of the extensor muscle is going to synapse at the level of the spinal cord with the interneuron through an excitatory synapse. Now this interneuron synapses with the alpha motor neuron of the flexor muscle, okay? It is synapsing with the alpha motor of the flexor muscle along an inhibitory synapse, which is a polysynaptic circuit, as we said. Now, as a result, the nerve message is going to be inhibited. That is, this alpha motor fiber is not going to carry any action potential to the flexor muscle, which is going to cause the flexor muscle to relax, and this is going to lead to extension of the foot. So, as you have observed here in the Achillean reflex, what the extensor is going to contract and the flexor is going to relax. So the concept of antagonistic muscle action is implicated in the Achillean reflex like any movement. The tricep suri is going to contract, which is an extensor leading to extension of the foot, since it is going to receive action potential, causing it to receiving action potential via the alpha motor fiber, causing it to contract. This muscle, the flexor muscle, is going to relax because it is not going to receive action potential, since the synapse here is inhibitory. Now we come to the question here: what is the role of the interneuron in an Achillean reflex? This interneuron here, by now you must have guessed that as it has a role here, which is an inhibitory role on the alpha motor neuron of the flexor, because as observed following a stimulation, the same afferent message here is going to produce two different efferent messages. One is excitatory and one is inhibitory. The only difference between the two circuit here, remember this is one circuit, this is the circuit of the extensor, okay, and this is the circuit blue, then you go to the red, this is the circuit of the flexor here, okay. So the only difference between the two circuits here is the presence of the interneuron that had reversed the message received by the antagonist muscle. So the interneuron is going to have an inhibitory role on the alpha motor neuron of the flexor muscle. Finally, what I would like to call your attention to is the role of the spinal cord. The spinal cord here, as you have observed via its different synapses, is able to coordinate the activity of the different motor neurons and the muscle. This is the role of the spinal cord. Now, at the bottom of the page, I have written here that you can see the official exam 2008, the second session, which has a question about the following, the notion that we have explained here. Solving it would help you assimilate it better.